In a reactive world, emotional control is power, and one of the biggest traps people fall into is caring too much about what others think. Think about how many decisions you have made not because you wanted to, but because you were thinking about someone else's opinion. What will they say? How will they react? Will they approve? Will they judge? These questions feel small. These questions feel small, but they shape behavior more than most people realize. The invisible pressure. Caring about opinions is often subtle. It does not feel like pressure. It feels like awareness. But over time, that awareness turns into limitation. You speak less freely. You act more carefully. You adjust your behavior to avoid judgment. And slowly you stop being fully yourself. The fear behind it. At the core, it's not about opinions. It's about fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of losing approval. Because being accepted feels safe and being judged feels uncomfortable. So the mind chooses safety even if it limits growth. The illusion of control. Many people believe if I act a certain way, people will think positively about me. But perception is not fully controllable. People interpret based on their belief, their experiences, their biases. No matter what you do, no matter what you do, some will approve, some will question, some will misunderstand. Trying to control all opinions is impossible. The cost of caring too much. When you care too much about opinions, you lose clarity. Decisions become slower. confidence becomes weaker, identity becomes uncertain because now your direction depends on external feedback, and external feedback is inconsistent. Emotional freedom. When you reduce the need for approval, something changes. You think more clearly. You act more honestly. You move with less hesitation because your decisions come from within, not from external noise. The difference between awareness and dependence. Let's be clear. Ignoring all opinions is not the goal. Awareness is useful. Feedback can help, but dependence is the problem. When your identity depends on approval, you lose control. When your identity is independent, you gain stability. The AME.X perspective. Within the AME.X mindset, your focus is internal. You act based on values, not validation. You observe opinions, but you don't depend on them because your direction comes from clarity, not from approval. The shift. When you stop caring too much about opinions, you don't become careless. You become focused. Focused on growth. Focused on discipline. Focused on what actually matters. And that focus creates progress. Remember something simple. People will think what they want. The question is, will you live based on their thoughts or your own direction? If you are building emotional control in a reactive world, stay here. This channel is for thinkers. Control your emotions or they will control you.